All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today we're going to start off with part one of the Russo-Japanese War. Okay, now this is a prelude to the Russian Revolution that's going to happen um, after, well, yeah, near the end of World War One. But this is also going to basically set the pieces up for when World War One starts, how you're going to see this side join with this side because they don't like this group and things like that. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. So the objective today, we're going to analyze how the Russo-Japanese War started. Okay. We're going to examine what international law said about attacking a country. And then we're going to create an argument on what should happen to advisors who lie or underestimate their opponents. Okay. Now, here's your warm up picture. So, my question to you is this: based off your analysis of this picture, does it look like these guys are putting the cork into the volcano, or does it look like they're taking it out? And why do you say that? Why do you say, oh, it looks like they're taking it out? Or if you say, well, it looks like they're putting it in, why do you say that? What evidence is there to prove that they're doing what you're saying they're doing? Okay, so pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. So in 1904 in Russia, Tsar Nicholas II, which you see that guy right there, he rules Russia. And he is, once he takes over, he is now in control of the largest territorial power in the world. Okay, Russia still to this day owns a huge chunk of land. Now, granted, a large part of it is, Iceland. It's like a lot of it's just pure ice, mountains and things like that. But still, they own a lot of land. Okay. Now, just like we were saying about the cold, Russia wanted warm ports. They want to be able to send their boats out in warm water and not have to worry about glaciers and things like that and the boat getting stuck in ice. They wanted this since the Crimean War, if you remember, from last grading period. But the thing was, they were now looking, going, you know what? Why focus so much in the Mediterranean and the Eastern, or sorry, the European part of the world? Why don't we look at the Pacific? The Pacific Ocean is the biggest ocean in the world. There's plenty of territory out there, plenty of areas where we can put our boats and go through warm waters. Now, why was this so important? Again, number one, trade. Okay, it's a lot easier. It's a lot nicer too that you can send your boat out with goods and gold and things like that, and not have to worry about it getting struck by an iceberg and sinking to the bottom, basically losing all the material, all this gold and whatever you needed, things like that. But the other thing was their navy. So, hey, to show the world, hey, we're tough, we're bad, we're here, type of thing. So Tsar Nicholas had his sights on the Korean and the Liaodong Peninsula. He was like, this would be a great spot to put a port. Now, the thing is, they leased it to him. And like a lot of people in class knew, which, again, I don't know if you know or not, but leasing is not that you own it. You're basically kind of renting it in a sense. Okay. And that's what they were doing. They were kind of renting this port from the Koreans and the Liaodong area. And this place is called Port Arthur. But the thing is, Russia wanted total control. And the Koreans and the Liaodong were like, no, we're letting you rent here, but don't think you own this. Now, one country had a problem with Russia being that far south, and that was Japan. Japan didn't like the idea of Russia being there. Why? Because during the if I remember right, if I'm pronouncing this right, Zing Empire in China, they supported them over the Japanese in the First Sino-Japanese War in 1895. Now, at this time, China and Japan did not get along, like at all. And here is Russia supporting China. So imagine this: there's somebody you really don't like, or somebody you cannot stand, somebody you're like, oh, I'm going to get in a fight with these fools if I see them. All right. So imagine that person or group of people, and all of a sudden, somebody that is friends with them, buddy with them, supports them, moves in next door to you. You know, hey, I'm gonna run into these guys, or these guys are gonna cause a problem. Just start beefing with me, you know. So that's basically what Japan feels like. Hey, Russia should not be here. They're just gonna cause problems. Things are gonna go bad for us. And you know what? No. Now, Japan didn't like Russia being there, but Japan also knew reality. They knew that Russians are war driven, aggressive people. You know, he knew that they knew this. So they tried to come up with a deal, a peaceful solution that would benefit the Russians and themselves. So first thing they did was they offered to give a control of the Manchurian area, basically telling, hey, this may not be connected to specifically the Pacific Ocean, but hey, you get more land, more resources, things like that. But under that same deal, Japan would have control over the influence in Korea. They didn't want Russia to have anyone there, not even a single soldier. And Russia was like, yeah, no, we don't like this idea. They demanded, however, that Korea, specifically at the 39th parallel, should be a neutral zone, meaning it's safe for any side to be there, to meet there. Neither side um, is going to see this as an act of aggression if you're in that neutral zone. If you're there, you're there. And if you're in the north and you go south, that's invasion. If you're in the south and you pass the neutral zone up north, that's an invasion. So they basically said that middle area. So where you see that where it said Pyongyang, that area straight across, that's the 39th parallel. Okay. So excuse me. Negotiations basically broke down between Russia and Japan. Now, the thing is, Japan decided to go to war with Russia. The problem was they didn't announce it. The top people knew we're going to war with Russia, and that was basically it. That's the only people who knew. And they did a surprise attack at on the Navy, Russian Navy, at Port Arthur on February 8th, 1904. Now, there were people in Russia going, whoa, 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 whoa. We didn't get any notice about a war. You know, why'd you tell us that we were in war with you? We thought we were still in peace. And the Japanese were like, no, 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 we let you know. You know, we attacked on, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning. We let you guys know around 6 o'clock that we're not going to be friends no more, and no more negotiations and things like that. We let you know about 2 hours in advance. No, excuse me. Oh, forgive me. This attack really hurt the Russian Navy in that area. Okay. And if you look at this map, you can see where Port Arthur is. It's in that peninsula area. So they're kind of trapped right there. Now, in Russia, once word of this attack hits Russia, the Tsar's advisors, the people who are supposed to give him the best advice and tell him, based off our knowledge, this is what sounds logical, this sounds like the smart move to do. They basically tell him, sir, look at Japan. Look at them. They're tiny. They're so small. We, on the other hand, are so big. We're so strong. We're superior than Japan. Japan's a tiny little island. We're so huge. We're stinking Russia. We could take on anyone. They are not going to be a challenge to our military and our navy. They said this even though the Japanese basically destroyed their navy. They're like, no, we got this. Well, will definitely beat Japan. No problem. Now, I've had some students tell me, isn't like a sneak attack like that, isn't that like illegal, wrong? So here's the thing. Back then, under international law, you didn't need to have a formal declaration of war in order to attack a country. Okay. You didn't have to have a Congress basically saying, we're going to war with this country, and things like that. You didn't have to do that. You could just attack. But this all changed in 1907 at the Second Hague Peace Conference. And that's when they decided, you know what? Yeah, you have to give an announcement. You have to give a warning, you know, to the people, you know. Now, I asked people in class, why do you think they did this? And the number one answer I got was so that civilians won't get hurt. And that's honestly was really what it is. They didn't want civilians to get hurt or get killed in an attack. Now, a soldier getting killed, even though it's sad that that happens, the thing is, they signed up to go to war. They signed up to fight for their country and freedom and things like that, protect it. Civilians don't. You know, children, old people, things like that. They're innocent. They didn't ask to be there when the bombs fell or an attack happened or gunshots being shot. No, that's why they did this now, so that people who are not involved could get out, give enough time to get away, be safe. Now, the attack on Port Arthur was meant to neutralize the Russians, and it not only did it neutralize them, it really hurt them bad. Now, the Japanese emperor, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, had torpedo boats that attacked three major ships from the Russians. The first one, I'm not even going to try with that TESAR. I'm not going to try. The second one, again, with the R, Retvitsen, I guess. Um, but the last one I can't pronounce, Polada. Those three ships were attacked. Okay. Now, the Japanese try to create a blockade, try to create like a bubble so that no other ships can get out of that area. And believe it or not, they failed. Two ships were able to get out of the blockade. The first one was a Petrovsky, and the second was a Poveda. Now they left Port Arthur just in time. We're talking about the skim of their teeth. Problem was when they made it out to sea, they hit some sea mines. Now, if you've ever seen the movie um, uh, Finding Nemo, you might remember when Dory goes, "Oh, look, balloons!" You know, yeah, those were sea mines. Those are sea mines that were back from World War One. So when a boat hit those mines, and they're like a circle, but they have like little rods sticking out. If they hit that rod, that basically triggered the explosion inside them. And when one exploded, then another one would explode, and another one, and that's how you get these ships to basically get destroyed. Now the Petrovsky, that got totally destroyed when the bomb started blowing up. It destroyed that ship and it sank to the bottom of the sea. Now the Poveda, it didn't sink, but it was heavily damaged. I mean, really, really bad. You know, the parts that were still hanging on were hanging on by the thin parts of the rivets. It's a miracle that they made it, but they made it. All right, so here's my question to you. If a country intends to attack another country, Do you believe that they should give that country like a countdown or a notice of their attack? Or do you believe, no, no, no. This is war. There should be surprise attacks and things like that. You know, the object of war is to win. It's not, oh, let's save people, let the other side get their stuff together and then we'll fight, or are you the person like, no, 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 surprise attack, do it. Or do you feel like, no, that's the wrong thing to do? You should give a countdown or notice, like, hey, we're going to war with you. You have a day to get all your civilians out. Or do you feel, again, no, in war, anything goes? So which one do you believe in and why? Why do you say that? Okay. So once you've written your response, you're done with this lesson. So hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. Um, so with that being said, guys, I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this. All right. So you guys take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.